Hello everyone, today we are going to show you what it's like to cross the Mexican border while using executive bus lines. This is not a sponsored trip. I just wanted to show you what it's like to use bus services that go from various parts in Southern California cities and take you to the Tijuana International Airport. The bus ride for me started in Riverside, California, and the cost of the trip was $80 round trip. They give you 4 tickets for the round trip. The first part of the ride was the Riverside to San Ysidro border crossing, which is about 110 miles away from Riverside, California. That part of the ticket was worth $30. The bus drops you off literally feet from the border. You can see the border wall when you get off the bus, which is kind of intimidating because it is topped with barbed wire and there's soldiers all around the area. But it is kind of surreal because there's also McDonald's there and a Jack in the Box literally feet away from the border. The next bus was a Mexican bus that bus got me from San Ysidro to the Tijuana Airport. The way it works is the bus goes over to the declaration zone in Mexico. The border itself is interesting because there are inspection points to leave the country. Not sure why you have to get inspected on the way out of the United States, but that's the way it goes these days. And then the bus goes to the Mexican customs area. I couldn't film inside, but I can tell you what the process is like. Basically, the first part is you have to show the documents to get into Mexico. For me, being a dual citizen, that's an easy thing because I just presented my Mexican ID card, but if you have an American passport, that's where you're going to show your Mexican passport. If you're going to stay over 7 days, you're going to have to pay about $40 for your tourist card. After showing my ID, we had to go to the baggage check area, and that baggage check is anyone with more than $300 in merchandise will be stopped and billed for import taxes. For me, again, this was not a big deal because I only had carry-on luggage and all the stuff that I was carrying were personal items. As long as you can show that they're personal items, that they're used, they're not going to bother you. But if you're carrying a lot of clothes or a lot of high-end electronics, you might have to pay import taxes. The only problem for me really was that I had to wait my turn in line, and the line can get a little bit long, and that's a little bit stressful because the bus driver told us that he was only going to wait 25 minutes and then we would have to wait for the next shuttle bus, and the shuttle buses come every 30 minutes. The shuttle bus drops you over by the arrivals area at the airport and you have to walk to the departures area of the airport. Not far, but realize that you will be doing some walking if you use these shuttle buses. I thought I was going to have a lot of time at the Tijuana Airport, but it turns out that I only had an hour before my flight was leaving. And so luckily I have priority pass lounge access, and at the Tijuana Airport, the priority lounge has its own security entrance. What you have to do is when you get to the airport, look for the VIP lounge sign, which in this case was right by a Carl's Jr. Walk all the way to the back and up the stairs. The Priority Pass lounge was nice, but I only had a little bit of time, just enough to get a Sprite and leave and find my gate. Our flight from Tijuana to Aguascalientes, Mexico, that's where I was going, was considered a domestic flight, and it was at gate 20, which is the farthest away gate at the Tijuana Airport. It is at the far left of the airport and down one level. It is kind of a long walk, and the air didn't seem to circulate much in that area, so it was kind of stuffy. The plane boarded from the tarmac, which means we climbed up some stairs to get into the plane. The flight was with Volaris and was about 3 hours. No food service was included, but you could buy snacks. The airplane had a Wi-Fi enabled entertainment hub, but only the online magazines and the airplane map was included in their services.
In case of any emergency, a path along the aisle will show you the way to the exit.
Well, I am back at the airport here in Aguascalientes, so that means my trip has ended. Okay, I am back in the Tijuana Airport, and now the goal is to get to the exit and get to the buses that will go over to San Ysidro border crossing. Let's see how that goes. The way back was pretty easy, but there was some interesting moments. When you get back to the Tijuana Airport, everyone leaves the same way. Since Tijuana Airport is right on the border, everyone goes through a border checkpoint where you have to again show your documents. Once you get past that border checkpoint, you can do one of two things. If you exit to the left, you are back on the Mexican side of the airport. And if you go right, you will go to the CBX bridge. The bridge costs $25 one way. I already had my bus ticket, so I went left and I went back to that bus stop by the arrival section. At the bus stop, you will see a bunch of ladies waving you down, and I believe I kind of got tricked in this area. Even though I have a ticket, I had to come here and they had to scan my passport. They said the next bus to the border leaves at 10:15, so hopefully I can get to my other bus that leaves at 10:30, we'll see. And then from there, we go forward, we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly how this works. I asked one of those ladies that was waving me down if she was with Executive Lines, and she said, yes, I'm with Executive Lines. But I found out that the truth is that all the buses first stop at the border. So those ladies will always tell you that they are your bus company, even though they are not your bus company. My ticket said 10:15, but I ended up on the 10:30 bus. Either way, it really didn't matter because there was no way I was going to make my 10:45 bus out of San Ysidro. Well, I'm not sure if I'll make the second bus because they're saying the first bus leaves at 10:15, 10:30, which I know on Mexican Standard Times that doesn't give you a lot of leeway. So we'll see how that goes with the whole bus situation. But I'm hoping for the best. Anyways, it's 9:30 here at the Tijuana Airport, and since I have an hour before my bus goes, I think I have time to get a snack. So I'm gonna go over here to Oxxo and get a little snack before I take this first bus. Very conveniently, right here underneath the parking, there is an Oxxo. So I'm gonna take that Oxxo and buy some cookies, I think. The line where the buses go is just to the right of the Sentry lanes. It is interesting because now the Mexican National Guard is inspecting people on the way out. I don't understand what all this double inspection thing is on both sides of the border is accomplishing other than making the lines longer, but it is something that you need to factor in on your way in and out of the border. As a bus passenger, they drop you off in a caged area of U.S. Customs, and you eventually mix yourself with the pedestrian line. I have a global entry card, so that part for me was very fast. The only thing that they asked me in the global entry line was if I had anything to declare, and then they took my picture. The global entry program has been really good for me and a good investment. It was $120 for 5 years. It's a kind of a long wait to get through the background, but it saves so much time at both the borders and in airports. Across the border was pretty easy. The bus took me so I didn't have to walk across the border, so that was nice. And once I got up to the line, there was a special line for global entry. I'm over here by the trolley station now here in San Ysidro. Now I gotta go over to the bus area here, which is just around the corner from the Jack in the Box, and see if they can change my ticket because the ticket that they gave me was for 10:45 and there's no way. I got way fast through the border and there's no way I would have been able to get through and to this bus stop by 10:45. So I'm hoping they'll let me on the 12:45 one, which is the next bus to Riverside, but we'll see how it goes. I got charged $10 for missing my original appointment and having to change to a later bus. Well, I didn't make it for that first bus. I wasn't even close. It's about 11:30 now, and I was able to change the tickets to 12:30. So it looks like I'll arrive in Riverside at 3 p.m. So it's gonna be a long day. It's pretty much a full day of travel this way. It is cheaper, but I think I would have been faster if I got through CBX, but we'll continue to see how the journey goes. It's not done yet. We still got to catch one more bus at 12:30. The San Ysidro bus station is very noisy, and there's some people sitting on the benches that look kind of questionable to me. I have made it here back to Riverside. The bus made it back here to stop. It was a lot longer than going the CBX route, but it was an interesting trip. If I needed to and CBX wasn't available, I'd do it again, but I've heard that there's another bus that comes from here from Riverside and goes to CBX, which is a little bit faster, so I might try that one in the future, who knows. But I hope you enjoyed this video and give you an idea of what it's like to travel on a bus from Southern California to the border and cross and back again. So thanks for watching. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next video.